The arena lights blazed like small suns, casting harsh shadows across the sand-covered floor. June blinked as he stepped from the darkness of his cell. The roar of thousands of alien voices hit him like a physical wave. He had never seen so many different species in one place, tentacled beings waving excitement, floating gas-filled creatures changing colors with emotion, and hundreds more he couldn't name. June's muscles tensed under his thin prison garment. The Vorn guards had given him no armor, not even basic protection. Just a short blade that felt like a toy compared to the weapons he'd seen other fighters carrying. "Look at this pitiful creature," the announcer's voice boomed. "The human specimen makes its first and likely final appearance." More laughter rolled through the stadium. June kept his face blank despite the rage building inside. 6 months of captivity had taught him patience. His mind flashed back to that terrible day. The diplomatic mission. The surprise attack. Watching his crewmates die or be captured. The Vorn ships had overwhelmed Earth's first deep space vessel in minutes. No one back home would even know what happened for years. From Sector 7, the 16-time arena victor, Tarkax of the Drell Hives. The opposite gate opened. A massive insect-like creature emerged, standing nearly twice June's height. 4 powerful arms ended in serrated claws. Its exoskeleton gleamed metallic blue under the lights. Tarkax raised its arms, causing the crowd to stamp and cheer. The creature's mandibles clicked rapidly. June's translator rendered it as laughter. "They send me a soft one today," Tarkax's translated voice came through. "I shall make it quick, but not painless." 2 Vorn guards pushed June forward. He stumbled slightly, partly from weakness and partly for show. Let them all think him feeble. The High Commander of the arena sat in an elevated box. His body was a writhing mass of tentacles supporting a bulbous head with multiple eye stalks. "This match begins our celebration of the 17th system to join our glorious Imperium." "Begin!" Tarkax didn't waste time. The creature charged across the arena, moving with shocking speed for its size. June stood still, watching, calculating. In the holding cells, June had observed the other fighters. The insectoid species had lightning reflexes but poor balance. Their jointed legs provided speed but not stability. At the last possible moment, June stepped aside. Not a large movement, just enough. Tarkax's momentum carried it past, one claw slicing air where June's chest had been. The crowd's excited chattering turned confused. Tarkax spun around, mandibles clicking angrily. "Stand still." "Make me," June said softly, knowing the translator would convey his words. This time when Tarkax charged, June dropped low and swept his leg. The move connected with one of Tarkax's backward-jointed legs. The creature stumbled but didn't fall. A section of the audience booed. They had expected quick entertainment, not a chase. June kept moving, circling. He was studying his opponent with every exchange. The Drell warrior favored its right side. Its lower left arm moved slightly slower, perhaps from an old injury. "The human fights like prey," someone shouted from the stands. "Always running." Tarkax lunged again, all 4 arms swinging in deadly arcs. June ducked under the first swing, sidestepped the second, but the third caught him across the shoulder. Pain flared as the claw tore through skin. Blood soaked his garment. The crowd cheered at the first blood. June ignored the pain. He'd endured worse in training. The cut wasn't deep, the Drell was toying with him. "That's better," Tarkax hissed. "Your red blood will look beautiful on the sand." In the stands, bored spectators began throwing food remnants into the arena. A gelatinous mass splattered near June's foot. June backed toward the arena wall, appearing to seek escape. Tarkax followed, confident in its victory. Just as the creature prepared for another attack, June suddenly charged forward. The unexpected move caught Tarkax off guard. June slipped inside the reach of those deadly claws. His small blade found the gap between carapace plates near where the creature's neck joined its thorax. He pushed with all his strength. Green fluid spurted from the wound. Tarkax shrieked, a high-pitched sound that made the translator crackle. The creature stumbled backward, one claw clutching at the injury. The arena fell silent. Tarkax's compound eyes fixed on June with new understanding. The creature now recognized the human as a real threat. In the commander's box, I swiveled toward the arena floor. What had been dismissed as simple entertainment had suddenly become interesting. June readied himself. The fight had only just begun. Tarkax towered in the center of the arena, its massive frame casting a long shadow across the sand. The crowd had grown quiet after June's surprising first strike, but now they waited eagerly for the real fight to begin. "You surprised me, human," Tarkax said, green fluid still seeping from the wound near its neck. "But one lucky strike means nothing." June kept his distance, circling slowly. The cut on his shoulder had stopped bleeding, but it stung with every movement. He tightened his grip on the small blade, now slick with Drell blood. "Begin the real match." The arena master's voice echoed. No more delays. Tarkax didn't hesitate. The creature charged again, but this time with more caution. Its forearms worked in coordination, each claw slashing at a different height to limit June's escape options. June ducked under one swipe and rolled away from another. He felt the wind from a claw that passed just centimeters from his face. Too close. "The human dances well," someone shouted from the stands. "But dancing is not fighting." Some of the alien spectators laughed, but others watched with growing interest. The human moved differently than any other gladiator they had seen before. Tarkax pressed forward, using its superior reach to keep June on the defensive. One slash tore through June's pant leg, leaving a shallow cut along his thigh. Another caught the edge of his ear, sending a trickle of blood down his neck. "First blood is mine now," Tarkax clicked triumphantly. The first of many. June knew he couldn't win by strength alone. The Drell was simply too powerful, its natural armor too thick. But watching the creature move, June spotted a pattern. Tarkax relied on its front right arm for balance after each attack sequence. After dodging another flurry of strikes, June suddenly moved toward Tarkax instead of away. The unexpected approach confused the Drell momentarily. In that brief window, June slashed at the joint of Tarkax's front right limb. His blade found the gap between armor plates. The Drell screeched as the limb buckled. Not severed, but damaged enough to disrupt its balance. "The small one has teeth," a voice called from the audience. Tarkax backed away, reassessing. Its mandibles clicked rapidly in what June's translator didn't catch, probably curses. "I will hang your skin on my wall," Tarkax hissed. The creature attacked again, but now its movements were less coordinated. June could see the Drell compensating for its injured limb, creating new openings. He struck at another joint, then another. Each precise hit targeted the connections between armor plates where the exoskeleton was thinnest. Green fluid spattered across the sand. The crowd's mood shifted. What had begun as amusement at seeing a weak species in the arena was becoming genuine interest in the fight. Tarkax, growing desperate, lunged forward in an all-out attack. The move was powerful but clumsy. June sidestepped and drove his blade into the same neck joint he had targeted earlier, pushing deeper this time. The Drell's momentum carried it forward several more steps before it collapsed to its knees. All four arms twitched uselessly as more fluid poured from its wounds. June circled warily, ready for one final desperate attack. But it never came. Tarkax slumped forward onto the sand, its compound eyes dimming. Silence fell over the arena. Nobody had expected this outcome. The match that was meant as light entertainment had ended with the favorite defeated. "The human advances," the announcer finally said, confusion evident even through the translator. Scattered applause began, growing stronger as the shock wore off. Some spectators stood, pointing and discussing the fight animatedly. In the champion's box high above the arena floor, a warrior known as Tak watched with utter fascination. Unlike most gladiators who relied on brute strength or natural weapons, this human had used strategy and precision. "Bring that one to my training area tomorrow," Tak instructed a nearby guard. "I wish to speak with it." The guard hesitated. The human is just a novelty fighter, champion. Surely not worth. Do it, Tak interrupted, compound eyes never leaving June as guards escorted him from the arena. That novelty just changed the games. As June limped toward the exit, he kept his expression neutral. Inside, however, he felt the first spark of something he hadn't experienced in 6 months. Hope. The training area smelled of sweat and alien disinfectants. June sat on a bench, wrapping cloth around his knuckles. His body bore new scars since his first victory. Each mark told a story of survival. Your next opponent uses poison spines, Tak said, settling beside him. The champion's 6 limbs moved with precise grace. Unlike other aliens, Tak didn't look at June with contempt. Aim for the base of the neck. The poison sacs are vulnerable there. June nodded. Thank you. 3 weeks had passed since his victory over Tarkax. In that time, he had fought and defeated 6 more opponents. Each win brought whispers among the aliens. The weak human had become the clever one, or sometimes the ghost, for his ability to avoid powerful attacks. The masters have changed your schedule, Tak continued. You fight Grawl tomorrow instead of next week. June paused his rapping. Grawl was a mountain of muscle with stone-like skin. The creature had killed 11 opponents this season. They hope Grawl kills me, June said. It wasn't a question. Tak's compound eyes glinted under the harsh lights. You understand our masters well now. Our masters, June repeated slowly. Not for long. Tak clicked a warning sound. The walls have ears, human. They trained in silence after that. Tak demonstrated weak points in various alien physiologies, and June practiced precision strikes. His body had grown harder, leaner in captivity. What the Vorn saw as human weakness, lack of natural armor or claws, had forced him to become more skilled than any other fighter. That evening, guards escorted June to the viewing platforms. The masters occasionally allowed fighters to watch other matches to study techniques. But June knew this was different. This was meant to intimidate him. Grawl was fighting. The massive creature moved with surprising speed for its size, crushing a reptilian opponent with a single blow. The crowd roared as Grawl lifted the broken body overhead in victory. Tomorrow, the human faces our champion, the announcer called. The crowd turned toward June, pointing and laughing. He kept his face expressionless despite the cold fear in his stomach. Then he saw them. In a small pen near the lowest seating area, separated by energy barriers, sat a group of humans. About 20 men and women, thin and pale from captivity. Some wore collars marking them as pets for wealthy Vorn. Others had the brand of labor workers. Their eyes met his. In their gazes, June saw recognition, then hope. One woman pressed her hand against the barrier, nodding slightly to him. Move along, a guard shoved June roughly. Enjoy your last night alive, little meat. Back in his cell, June lay on his thin sleeping mat, staring at the ceiling. The image of those humans wouldn't leave him. Earth didn't know the danger coming. His mission had been first contact, a peaceful expedition. Instead, they had discovered a vast empire built on conquest. They're coming for Earth, Tak had told him during one training session. The Vorn strip each planet they conquer. The native species become property. June closed his eyes, thinking about Grawl. The creature was 3 times his size with skin that could deflect blades. Victory seemed impossible. Yet he had to win. Those humans in the pens needed him. Earth needed him. Warning came too quickly. The guards didn't bother with restraints anymore. June had proven cooperative, saving his fighting for the arena. Special instructions today, one guard said, showing him a shock prod. You die slowly for the crowd's pleasure. The waiting area before the arena felt colder than usual. June stretched carefully, cataloging each ache and pain from previous fights. His resources were limited, one standard blade, his training, and his mind. The masters have placed large bets against you, Tak said, appearing suddenly beside him. The champion wasn't supposed to be there. I assume so, June replied. Tak hesitated, then extended one limb. In it was a small vial of blue liquid. For your blade. It dissolves stone-like tissues. Against the rules, of course. June looked at the offering, then up at Tak's alien face. Why help me? Because in 17 conquered systems, you are the first to make me question the Vorn's claim that they always conquer the strongest species. Tak pushed the vial toward him. Perhaps the strongest aren't always the ones with the thickest armor. June took the vial but set it aside. I'll win my way. Or not at all. Tak's mandibles clicked in what the translator rendered as a laugh. Humans are strange indeed. The gates began to open. Sunlight and the roar of the crowd poured in. Know this, June said quietly. If I survive today, I'm finding a way out for all of us. Tak watched him walk toward the light. Then I shall watch with great interest, human. The quarter-finals of the arena games brought the largest crowd of the season. High-ranking Vorn officials filled the luxury boxes, their tentacles adorned with jewelry that signified their status. They had come to see the human anomaly finally defeated. June sat alone in the preparation chamber. His victories over Grawl and 7 other champions had made him famous across the Imperium. Some aliens even cheered for him now, drawn to his unlikely success story. A guard pushed a water container through the small opening in the door. June's throat was dry from tension, so he drank deeply. The bitter taste registered too late. He had grown accustomed to the Vorn's games by now, he knew immediately he'd been poisoned. His vision swam. The walls seemed to bend and shift. His hands trembled as he tried to steady himself against the bench. Time to fight, human champion, a guard announced, opening the door. June staggered into the tunnel leading to the arena. Each step required intense focus. The poison was designed to weaken him, make him slow and confused. Through sheer will, he kept moving forward. The sunlight hit him like a physical blow when he emerged. The crowd's roar sounded distant, as though he was underwater. Across the arena's sand stood his opponent, a massive gore fighter with scale-like armor covering its muscular body. The creature's eyes tracked June's unsteady movements with predatory interest. June tried to focus, to find his center as he had in previous fights. But the poison clouded his thoughts. He could barely stand straight. Then he saw them. In the lower stands, a group of human captives were being forced to watch. Guards struck those who didn't cheer enthusiastically enough. A young woman with dark hair refused to shout for the Gorg champion. A guard's club struck her across the face, sending her crumpling to the ground. Something changed in June at that moment. The sight of another human being treated like nothing triggered something primal in his brain. His heart rate surged. Instead of weakening him further, the poison in his system seemed to unlock something, the body's emergency reserves. The Vorn scientists had studied human biology but had never witnessed what happens when humans are pushed beyond their breaking point. They had no concept of berserker rage. The Gorv charged, seeing June's unsteady stance as an opportunity. Its scaled fist slammed into June's ribs with crushing force. Bones cracked. Pain exploded through his body. But instead of falling, June grabbed the Gorv's arm. The crowd went silent in shock. With a roar that didn't sound human, June twisted. The Gorv's arm snapped with a crack that echoed through the arena. The creature howled, but had no time to retreat. June attacked with furious intensity. Gone was the careful, strategic fighter. This was something else, a human in full rage state. Each strike targeted vulnerable points with devastating force. Blood pounded in his ears, drowning out the crowd's shocked reaction. The Gorg, despite its superior size and natural armor, couldn't counter the onslaught. It tried to retreat, to create distance, but June pursued relentlessly. When the Gorv attempted to use its tail as a weapon, June caught it and used the momentum to slam the creature into the arena wall. The Gorv collapsed, its scaled body broken in multiple places. The fight had lasted less than 30 seconds. June stood over his fallen opponent, chest heaving, blood dripping from numerous cuts on his hands and face. His eyes were wild, unfocused. The poison and rage had transformed him into something the arena had never witnessed before. The silence in the stadium was absolute. Even the Vorn officials sat motionless, eye stalks extended in disbelief. In the champion's box, Tak slowly backed away from the viewing window. The six-limbed warrior had seen countless fights, but nothing like this display of raw, unleashed human fury. The human. The announcer finally spoke, voice uncertain, advances to the semifinals. June turned toward the sound. His gaze swept across the audience until it found the human spectators. The young woman who had been struck was being helped up by others. Their eyes met across the distance. He raised his bloodied fist toward them. A silent promise. In the highest box, the Vorn High Commander leaned toward his science advisor. What was that? The poison should have crippled him. The science advisor's tentacles twisted nervously. We may have miscalculated something about human physiology, Exalted One. Fix that mistake, the commander ordered. The human must not reach the finals. As guards cautiously approached to escort him back to his cell, June's mind slowly cleared. The rage subsided, leaving clarity in its wake. The Vorn had made a critical error. They had assumed humans were weak because they lacked natural weapons. They never understood that a cornered human was the most dangerous creature in the galaxy. The grand arena of the Vorn Imperium was transformed for the championship match. Golden light filled the stadium. Rare flowers from 17 conquered worlds released sweet scents into the air. The seats were filled with the highest-ranking officials, wealthy merchants, and arena fanatics from across the galaxy. In the center of it all stood the High Commander, his massive writhing tentacles adorned with ceremonial medals. His voice boomed across the arena. Today we end the strange tale of the human anomaly. Today, order returns to our games. June stood in the preparation chamber, wrapping his hands carefully. His body was a map of scars and barely healed wounds from his previous fights. The physicians had offered treatments, but he had refused. The pain kept him focused. The door slid open. Tak entered, all 6 limbs moving with perfect grace. They have special plans for you today, Tak said quietly. Poison in the sand. Weakened weapons. The commander himself has bet his newest pleasure ship on your defeat. June continued wrapping his hands. Do you want to win, Tak? The alien champion was silent for a moment. I have never lost in the arena. That wasn't my question. Tak's compound eyes studied June. I want a true fight. Nothing more. June nodded. Then you'll have one. When they entered the arena, the crowd's reaction told the story of the season. Half cheered for Tak, the longtime champion. But many others called June's name aliens who had come to admire the human's unlikely journey. The two fighters circled each other as the match began. Where June was all lean muscle and precise movement, Tak was elegant power, each of his 6 limbs a potential weapon. They clashed in the center of the arena. Tak's strikes were lightning fast, but June had studied his style for weeks. He deflected 2 blows and landed one of his own against Tak's midsection. The crowd roared. For 10 minutes, neither fighter gained a clear advantage. June's face was cut above one eye, blood making it hard to see. Tak's exoskeleton was cracked in 2 places. In the commander's box, officials whispered anxiously. This was not going according to plan. After this, the High Commander's voice suddenly announced, we begin processing the human home world. Our fleets are already approaching Earth's solar system. June froze mid-strike. Tak hesitated, seeing the change in his opponent's eyes. The rage that had consumed June in his previous fight was nothing compared to what flowed through him now. But this wasn't blind fury. This was something colder, more focused, a deadly calm that made his movements precise and inevitable. What have you done? Tak asked, recognizing the transformation. June didn't answer. He attacked with renewed purpose. Each strike was calculated for maximum effect. When Tak's claw tore a gash across his shoulder, June didn't even flinch. Tak fought brilliantly, using all his experience and skill. But the human moved with impossible determination. Wounds that should have slowed him seemed to fuel his advance. 20 minutes into the match, Tak knew he couldn't win. The realization came when June took a punishing blow to his ribs without slowing. The humans simply shouldn't have been able to continue fighting. When the end came, it was swift. June found an opening in Tak's defense and struck 3 precise blows to vulnerable joint connections. The champion's legs gave way. Tak fell to the sand, unable to rise. The silence in the arena was absolute. No one had expected this outcome, a human defeating the greatest champion in Imperium history. June stood over Tak, breathing heavily. "You fought well," he said quietly. Tak's mandibles clicked what the translator rendered as did you, human. "What happens now?" Instead of answering, June turned and walked directly toward the High Commander's box. Guards moved to intercept him, but the commander waved them away. "I claim the champion's right of request," June called, his voice carrying across the suddenly silent arena. It was an ancient tradition, one that even the Vorn honored. The new champion could make one request that could not be denied. The High Commander's eye stalks quivered with suppressed rage. "Speak, human champion. The humans in your pens become my training staff. I want them all." Murmurs spread through the crowd. It was a modest request from a new champion. Most demanded wealth or special privileges. "Granted," the commander said stiffly. "They are yours." That night, 27 humans gathered in June's new champion quarters. They stood awkwardly, uncertain why they had been brought here. "My name is June," he said simply. "I was captured 6 months ago, just like you." "We know who you are," the dark-haired woman from the stand said. "You're the champion now. What happens to us?" June looked at each face. "We have time now. We have purpose." "What purpose?" someone asked. "To save Earth. To escape. To show the Vorn that taking humans as slaves was the worst mistake they ever made." As the humans began to talk, to plan, to hope again, rumors were already spreading across the Imperium. "Beware the humans," the whispers said. "They look weak until pushed too far. Then they become unstoppable." In his private chambers, the High Commander reviewed the fleet deployment plans for the Earth invasion. For the first time in his long career, he felt something unfamiliar: doubt.